Welcome to Harmony and Improvisation with Doub Pearce, a podcast dedicated to helping musicians of all levels to play better music. Thanks for listening with us through these first lessons in the language of music. We are sure you'll love what's coming next. Visit us at harmonyimprov.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform. Partner with us at patreon.com/harmonyimprov. Welcome once again to Harmony and Improvisation. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're never going to believe it, but I just did this entire lesson and forgot to press record on the camera or on the QuickTime movie recorder that I'm using. So, yeah, the brain's not working the way it used to, which is a major reason why I want to be doing this now, because there's going to come a time when I'm not even going to know how to babble it out to you. So I'm hoping that this is... I'm hoping this works. We're going to move into, I think we've covered everything we can on four-note chords determined by a major note set. And it's now time to move on to something that, brings up fear and trepidation in a lot of musicians' minds. But it's the subject of modes. Modes of major in specific, I look at it as modes that are determined by these same major note sets that we've been talking about. Today, I just want to kind of share with you things that I've alluded to in the past and talked to a little bit about, but the term parent scale and how a major note set is considered the parent scale to these 7 modes of major that we're going to be talking about. And these 7 modes of major fit over the 7 4-note chords that we've been talking about. I want to give you just a little bit of an intro to the way that I think about it, and hopefully it might help some of you be able to jump the chasm that sometimes it feels like to be able to understand these things. We're going to start with C major, as usual. What I'm going to do is today kind of give you a brief auditory introduction to these 7 modes and kind of maybe where they come from and how I think of them. And then the next couple of, or next few podcasts, we're going to do a little more playing over those modal sounds. I've created some kind of janky sounding backup tracks, which I'll play against. And then I'm going to give you the opportunity to hear and sing and or play against these same things to learn these sounds. There are a lot of people who say, learn a ton of jazz standards and then you'll know what these sounds are. I kind of come about it from the opposite approach. You can, certainly that's the way to do it if that's the way you want to do it. But for me, it's about, I'm able to hear and learn the jazz standards and all kinds of music. It's not just jazz, all kinds of music, better by introducing my ears and my hands and my head to what these sounds are. Nothing was more frustrating for me than to learn a bebop tune and have the recording be so bad that all I could hear would be what Charlie Parker was doing, and I can't even tell what the pianist is comping in the background because I have to have that relationship between harmony and melody for it to make any sense to me at all. So by learning these sounds plus others that we'll delve into in the future, it helps me to hear what things are. I remember asking a friend one time, there was I think it was basically the changes to autumn leaves, and I didn't know what that... I didn't know what that was. And neither did he. He said, it's some kind of a 2/5. I said, well, yeah, obviously. But, I mean, as you introduce your ear to these things, which you will through modes, you will find out that 2 chord, if you think of E minor, for instance, some of the graphics are up on for those of you who are vidcasting, but if you're podcasting, if E minor is our tonal center to what I just played, the 2 would be F sharp something, the 5 would be something back to the E minor, right? Well, that E minor, if it's in the key of G and we go up to the F sharp, the F sharp is a minor 7 flat 5, and we go from the F sharp to the B, that B is going to be a B7. B7 flat 9, flat 13. So it's easy to hear 2 5s when you introduce yourself to these modal sounds. Okay. Moving on. Looking at C major note set, initially we're going to look at the 4-note chords and the names of the modes, etc., and hear what they sound like. But then we're going to look at, I'm going to show you what they sound like as you're starting a mode all on the same note. Maybe that's unclear. Initially, we've already heard that C major 7, D minor 7 Dorian, E minor 7 Phrygian, F major 7 to G, and A minor and B minor 7 flat 5. You know that those all come from the same note set, and that's what they sound like. But if you started each mode on the same note, we're going to look at them from a C major 7, C minor 7, C minor 7, C major 7. So 1, the 2 mode, C minor 7 Dorian, the 3 mode, C minor 7 Phrygian, the 4 mode, C major 7 Lydian, the 5 mode, C7 mixolydian, the 6th mode, C minor 7 aeolian, and the 7th mode, C minor 7 flat 5 locrian. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. Looking at it from those 2 ways, you're going to have to, in the first example, it's just C. You're thinking C all the time. That's what I do. I always think C. But I might, I'll explain that. C major 7, if I'm thinking a C major 7 chord as Ionian mode or the first mode, I'm always thinking of C major. Right? Now, if I go to D minor, I'm also thinking it's D minor Dorian, but I'm also thinking C major. I'm just starting, I'm making sure that D is on the strong emphasis of what I'm playing. I mean, not always, but it's like that's how I want to hear it initially. So here's the C major. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor Dorian. See how I landed that on the downbeat. So, and then E minor Phrygian. Landed on the E. F major 7. Sorry. G7. A minor 7. Now, A minor 7 I can start anywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and try to. And B minor 7 flat 5. I'm starting on want to land on that note, which is the B. So just by shifting the note that the strong beat is on, or that you want to resolve to or land on, to one of the chord tones of a D minor 7 chord or E minor 7 chord, or depending on what modal sound you're playing with, you turn that C major scale into one of those modes. A little side note, I never ever want to study. I have already put in years playing scales, patterns, and things like that. But I never want people today to learn how to play a scale by playing. Maybe for a very short period of time to get it under your fingers. But I'm hoping by learning the note set frame of mind rather than play your scales frame of mind, I'm hoping that you'll come up with groups of notes, whether you're a singer, sax player, trumpet player, guitar player, pianist, whatever, that you'll come up with groups of notes and ways of playing these sounds that you enjoy playing. I have a way I do it, and it's not playing scales. It is playing note sets, and for instance, if I were playing C major, now that is a note set, C major note set, but it's more angular. It's got bigger gaps and larger intervals in some of that movement. I'm hoping you'll find what moves you. But know what these things, you need to know what these things sound like. It's part of the language. It's like I think it's just really important to learn the sounds in the same, okay, I would probably never tell a little kid who's just beginning to learn how to speak and write, I'd never say, here is, Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. Go read that, and you'll be able to write and read anything you want. Or here is the Bible. Or here's Webster's Dictionary. Read that, and you're going to know all the vocabulary you need, and then you'll be fine. I never would do it that way. So those works are helpful down the line. I love reading, by the way. I read tons of books. And I expand my vocabulary by reading books. But I think initially, if musicians can get scales, note set sounds, and we all do major, right? We all do major. So all I'm saying is let's broaden that, and let's see what all of what major implies. And then let's go to some other things and get these sounds under our fingers and in our minds. All right. I probably have forgotten things because I did this once already, and I'm probably rushing through, but main term parent scale, okay? Now, let's look at the 7 modal sounds, the 1 chord Ionian, the 2 chord, or the 1 note set Ionian, same note set, right? That C major formula that we learned, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, if I said that right. And you can, if you're an interval thinker, which is fine. I don't really think of it that way, but if that's what you do, that's great. You can see that formula and shift it each time you shift a note and think of it, and you're thinking in a different mode. That's too much information for me. My brain doesn't do well with that. I like to look at it all as one thing. Major note set implies all this other stuff. So Ionian 1, Dorian 2, Phrygian 3, Lydian 4, Mixolydian 5, Aeolian 6, and Locrian 7. Now I'm going to show you what they sound like when they start all on the same note. Okay? We already did C major. C major 7 Ionian, we're thinking C major. Right? Simple. But what if I go C minor Dorian? Minor Dorian. What am I using to figure out what that note set is? Because it's not C major. C minor Dorian is not C major. C minor Dorian, you think of, the question is, what parent scale or major note set does C minor come from? B flat. B flat major to C minor. C minor is the 2 chord of B flat major. So what we're doing is we're playing this minor Dorian chord and playing major over it. Right? Okay, the next one. C minor Phrygian. So what's the question? The question is, what parent scale note set is C minor the third of, or the Phrygian mode? Modal chord, whatever. Well, A flat. So, and Phrygian is often called the Spanish Phrygian scale because it sounds very Spanish, and for another reason, which I'm going to tell you in a second. But C minor Phrygian is less Spanish sounding than another way that it's used. And in A flat major, which is the parent key, the 4 chord and the 5 chord, which I didn't do that in Dorian. I'll go back and do that in Dorian. The 4 and 5 chord are what? So A flat major has a D flat for the 4 chord and an E flat for the 5 chord. And you'll hear that from and A flat major works beautifully over it. But there's another way that this is done. That same scale, A flat major parent scale over C sharp minor, if you, it's not C sharp minor, C minor, let's turn that minor into a major. Doing the same exact thing, the only thing we've done is turn the C minor into a major and still continued to play the 4/5 of A flat major to get to that C minor. So the A flat major note set is C minor Phrygian or C Spanish Phrygian. Let me give you a nice idea. Go back to Dorian for a second. C minor Dorian. We said it's B flat. Right? That's the sound for C minor Dorian. Now, what I do is again in B flat, the parent scale, I think of the 4 and 5, right? E flat to F. E flat to F. So the 4 chord, E flat to F, the 4 chord to the 5 chord really help in all of these modes, I think, give you the feeling for what the mode actually sounds like. So E flat to F is the 4 chord of A flat to the 5 chord of A flat. I'm in B flat, sorry. The 4 chord of B flat to the 5 chord of B flat is C minor Dorian. To Phrygian, the 4 chord to the 5 chord of A flat gives you C minor Phrygian sound. Now we're going to go back to C major 7, and this is going to be C Lydian, a C Lydian sound. It's not C major, it's C Lydian. C Lydian is the note set that is the 4 of a key. So the question is, what is C Lydian, the 4th, C major 7, the 4th scale tone 4-note chord of? G. So C Lydian is actually the 4 note. I'm sorry. C Lydian. C Lydian is the 4th modal sound of G major. So G major has a 4 and 5 of C Lydian to D7. So those two chords really define the Lydian sound, even though I'm out of tune. Okay, moving along. So G major is the note set that works for C Lydian. C7, C, the 5 chord of a key. What is that? C, B flat, A, G, F. So F major note set is the note set that works for C7, right? We talked about how harmonica players arrive at this. So a harmonica player who's wants to buy a blues harp, just a regular diatonic blues harp, he wants to play a tune in C, but he wants that bluesy sound, right? So he buys an F harp because the draw on a harp is that C7 sound. With that in mind, another little side rabbit trail. C7 in traditional classical theory, they will teach you that it always wants to go back to F, which is true. That's resolving. Gosh. So C7 wants to go to F. True. C7 to F. C to F. Traditional classical theory works out and wins. But that's because we're thinking major. When we're thinking like that harmonica player, we're thinking the blues. And in the blues, a 7 chord, you land on it and you hang on it all day because you're playing the blues. And now go up to an F7. That's a 4 chord, same deal. Back to a C7. G7. F7, C7. So we're hanging on that C7. So that, it's important to know that a 7 chord doesn't always resolve. In the blues, it definitely does not, because you're not playing a major note set over it. Right? Okay. A minor aeolian. No, C minor aeolian. That is the question is, what is that the 6th chord of, or the 6th mode of? 6, 7, 1, E flat major. So C minor aeolian is, parent scale is E flat major. Well, E flat major has a 4 and 5 of A flat to B flat. So C major, C minor aeolian, if you go to A flat and B flat to C minor aeolian, that's kind of the sound of it. And the parent scale is E flat major. Last but not least, C minor 7 flat 5 or locrian. It's the 7 of, right? C is the 7th tone of D flat. So that's C minor Locrian, D flat major, note set parent scale. And again, you can, I haven't really done this, but if it's a D flat major note set, G flat to A flat, sure. I mean, that works, right? Sounds pretty cool. Yeah. And also always remember the locrian mode, or the in this case, a C minor 7 flat 5, is the extension of the dominant chord of whatever parent note set you're in. Okay, so if this is D flat, D flat, the 5 chord is A flat, and so if I wanted to use that C minor 7 as the first inversion of an A flat 7 chord extended, works great. No. Okay, so it's just another way to think about it and use it. I'm going to move on. Like I said, I've done this twice. I don't even know what I said in this. So the next episode is going to be a little more about each of those 7 modes from 2 different perspectives, and maybe give you some room to hear these things. I'll probably just play the scalar mode over the top so you can then either play along or sing along or whatever you want to do. The third, well, it's going to be individuals, but the next series of podcasts is going to be a little longer play along, which will give you an opportunity to think through another key, and besides C, and get it in your head, under your fingers, get an understanding of how to think through this to be able to land on these modes with, effortlessly. All right, thank you guys for putting up with my babble.